As business owners, entrepreneurs, and even marketing folks, we get so wrapped up in the day-to-day and the urgent and the important that we just forget and we just are not paying attention to certain things in our digital marketing. And we start making assumptions that maybe it's all going well, right? And we don't want to do that. We want to be aware of the mistakes that we might be making in our digital marketing. And so in this episode, I share the 5 digital marketing mistakes that I see people making on a regular basis, and I provide some solutions for correcting these mistakes. The 5 mistakes, the way that I see it, is number 1 is failing to develop a strategic plan in both your business and in your marketing, and specifically in your digital marketing, not measuring your performance. Number 3 is overlooking your mobile optimization. Number 4 is your search engine optimization, not paying attention to it, ignoring it, or assuming it's been taken care of. And the 5th one is not focusing on content marketing. Each of these mistakes could easily be a podcast in and of itself, and I might do that in the future. But today, I want to just go over it really at a high level and maybe jog your memory, maybe point you in the right direction so that you can take a look at your digital marketing and see if you are making these mistakes and take the solutions that I'm offering you today to correct those mistakes so that you can take your business to the next level this year, starting today. So listen in to the 5 digital marketing mistakes, see how you can correct them, and let's get started.
Welcome to the latest episode of Corner Your Market. I'm your host, Silas Kimide. In this podcast, I talk about all things digital marketing, from website design and development to SEO and PPC, as well as paid advertising, email marketing, social media, and anything in between. If you're a small business owner, a marketing manager in a company, or an entrepreneur, this podcast is for you. So tune in every Thursday at 10 a.m. You'll gain some practical insights, new strategies, tactics, and tools that will help you grow your business. To subscribe, go to corneryourmarketpodcast.com and select the podcast app of your choice. Then you can hit subscribe within those apps. That again is corneryourmarketpodcast.com. Also, don't forget to like and share our individual episodes. You can also leave a review in the app once you've listened to one of our episodes.
In today's episode, I want to talk about the 5 digital marketing mistakes that business owners make. And I think there's a theme across some of these. And I know I've discussed some of these in different episodes in different capacities, but I want to focus specifically on these mistakes so that you could correct them. Obviously, in today's digital age, having a strong online presence for your business is essential for you to reach your audience, engage with your folks, and make that sale and things like that. So, however, there's still quite a few mistakes that people continue to make, and I see them over and over again. And these mistakes can have a negative effect on your business and also can pull you back. It's kind of like having something tied to your legs as you're trying to swim. It's just holding you back. It's just making it that much harder for you to get to your goals. So today, I'll review the 5 most common mistakes and then also provide some practical solutions for correcting these mistakes. Obviously, I don't want to leave you hanging with just here's the 5 mistakes and then there's no real way to correct them, right? So you got to be growing and you got to be learning. So that's why you're here. So the 5 digital marketing mistakes that I see are failing to develop a strategic plan. That's the first one, and I'm going to go into detail on that in a little bit. Not measuring your performance is the number 2 one. And I think if you've listened to some of my podcasts before, you will know how much I emphasize that. And it's not just because I'm a math and physics guy, right? That happened to be in marketing. It's because if you're not measuring your performance, then you are kind of lost. The third mistake that I see people make, and this one is surprising to me, and I come across it quite a bit, it's overlooking mobile optimization. And I'll share some numbers with you on that, on why that's important, and we'll go over that in detail as well. The fourth one is not doing any SEO. SEO stands for search engine optimization. So I see plenty of sites, plenty of marketing plans where that is not even a consideration. So not doing search engine optimization is the 4th mistake. And the 5th mistake is not focusing on content marketing, or at least not allowing a strategy are not having a strategy for content marketing. And I'll talk a little bit about why content marketing is important, how you can do it, and what kind of impact that you can have and what kind of results you can have on content marketing. To be fair, each of these 5 mistakes could be an episode in and of itself. So I might develop this out a little bit more, but I'm going to go into as much detail as I can in this episode to kind of lay the groundwork. And then depending on feedback, depending on where I go with this, I might flesh these out into 5 separate episodes as well, because there's enough content here that could help you grow your business. So let's dive in. The first one is failing to develop a strategic plan. Now, a big mistake is not having a strategic plan, but I mean, a lot of people that are in business may not even have an overall strategic plan, let alone a marketing strategic plan. So let's cover that a little bit here. Basically, a strategic plan is a document that outlines your goals, strategies, tactics for achieving specific objectives over a set period of time. So a lot of businesses that are doing this really well will have a strategic plan for 1 year. Some will have it for 3 years. Some will even have it for 5 years. Now, a strategic plan is not a hardwired, set in stone kind of document, right? Obviously, you can revisit and you can modify and tweak as business conditions change and things like that. In fact, a very strong strategic plan will encourage that. But having a strategic plan and a long-term plan, what it does is it helps you as an organization focus your resources and align your activities to achieve the desired outcomes for your business. It can prove to be a critical tool for your business since it will guide your decision-making, it'll help you prioritize your resources, and help you also allocate the funding in an organized and systematic way so that you're not shooting from the hip. You know, we all like to be Indiana Jones and just kind of go with the flow, but even the Indiana Jones, to an extent, had a plan, right? He kind of knew what he was doing. So a strategic plan is very important, and what that will allow you to do is refine your mission and vision for your company. In fact, a strategic plan should have that pretty well outlined, a mission and a vision for your business. And then you should also have objectives, clear, specific, and measurable objectives. The more clarity you have, the more specific it is, and the more measurable it is, the better. As part of your strategic analysis and your strategic plan, you should also have a SWOT analysis. And now, if you're not familiar with SWOT analysis, it's basically understanding your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats to your business. And having thought that through is very important. And including that in your plan is very important because it allows you to play to your strengths, invest in your weaknesses to overcome them, look at the opportunities and know what the threats are to your business. Now, another element of your strategic plan is having strategies, right? So high-level approach or approach to achieving specific objectives. Objectives could be, we're going to grow market share. Okay, if you're going to grow market share, here's the strategies for achieving this growth in market share. And then outlining some tactics, specific things that you're going to do. Okay, if we're going to grow market share in this area, we're going to do booths here. We're going to write this kind of content here. We're going to put some PPC dollars here. We're going to do email marketing here. Whatever those tactics are, you can kind of outline those in your strategic plan. A strategic plan should also have an implementation plan. How are you going to do it? Who's responsible for it? When is it going to be done? It should also have metrics on how you're measuring it. We'll talk a little bit about that specifically for digital marketing in a little bit. A strategic plan should also have a budget. It should also have timelines, right? So if you have a strategic plan, why do I bring this up in terms of digital marketing? Well, if you don't have a strategic plan, then digital marketing just becomes a whim. You're just shooting from the hip. You're not really thinking things through in terms of what's going to work for you and what's not going to work for you and where your time should be spent and where your time should not be spent. So should you be on TikTok? I don't know. Your strategic plan should tell you whether or not you should be on TikTok. How much money should you be spending on PPC and content marketing? I don't know, but your strategic plan should give you some kind of guidance in terms of how much, when, and where you should be spending money on those kind of tools, right? So basically, a strategic plan should provide you with a roadmap for achieving your organization's goals, and it becomes a very essential tool in ensuring that all of the stakeholders in your company are working together in a coordinated and effective manner. And so having a strategic plan is the cornerstone to the success of your digital marketing. So that's the first mistake that people have or businesses have, is they don't have a strategic plan, which means in essence, it means you don't have a direction, you're going to miss opportunities, and you're going to have an ineffective use of resources. And marketing can be expensive. I mean, a lot of time, some of those Super Bowl commercials are millions of dollars, right? If you're just producing and putting out Super Bowl commercials without a strategic plan, that can be an enormous waste of money. So anyway, so that's the first one. And I know I spent a little bit of time on this because that's an important one. Now, the number 2 digital marketing mistake is not measuring and analyzing your marketing performance. And this is a big one for me. Because if you're not measuring how you're doing, and there are so many tools out there that can help you measure. So measuring can be hard. Measuring can take time. Understanding which metrics are important, which metrics are not important. Going through that exercise can be time consuming, and it can be difficult, and it can be heart wrenching sometimes. But it's got to be done. You got to know what you're going to measure. You got to know which metrics you're going to pay attention to, because, like I said, if you're spending time and money on digital marketing efforts without tracking and analyzing their results, then you're really not going to know what's working and what's not working. And I can't hammer this point enough, that it's very important. So what are some things that you can use in digital marketing to measure? Well, the first thing is Google Analytics. I actually have a whole podcast dedicated to that, so you can go back and listen to it. Set up your Google Analytics, measure, traffic, conversion rates, bounce rates by channel, see what's working, see what's not working, right? And also refine your measuring to the point where you can start doing some A/B testing to determine what's effective and what's not. Test your message. Don't just go on a whim, right? So if you have a good way of measuring and analyzing your marketing performance, all of this will come very naturally to you. Now, the number 3 digital marketing mistake is ignoring mobile optimization. And I'm surprised that I'm sitting here in 2023 and saying this. But according to Statistia, it's a website that tracks statistics on this kind of stuff. According to Statistia, as of 2021, the percentage of mobile visits to websites in the United States was approximately 60%. What this means is that on any given website in the United States, 60% of the traffic is coming from a mobile device. Now, that could be a smartphone, that could be a tablet. It's a mobile device, right? It's not a desktop, basically. Now, when you break that down by age group, and Statistia does do that on their website, you can see that the younger population, the percentage is higher. In fact, 18 to 24-year-olds, 75% of that traffic is mobile on your website. So if you're selling or you're engaging or wanting to engage this audience and your website is not mobile optimized, that's a big problem. Now, 65-year-olds and higher, it's only 45%, but still, that's 45%. That's like 4 out of every 10 visitors, almost 5 out of 10 visitors to your website is coming from a mobile device. So if your site is not mobile optimized, that audience, you're going to lose that audience probably faster than the 18 to 24-year-olds, because they're not going to know how to get back there, maybe, or they're just going to get frustrated and say, you know what, I'm not going to even bother. So now 25 to 34-year-olds is 70%, 35 to 44-year-olds is 60%, 45 to 54-year-olds is 55%, and 55 to 64-year-olds is 50%. So as you can see, mobile optimization is very important. Now, what do I mean by mobile optimization? It just means that your website is easy to use on a mobile device. So it's very simple. Just go on your website from your mobile device and see what your user sees and go through, do a purchase, go to the contact us form, go to get directions, go whatever it is that your audience does, go do that. and see what happens, see how the experience is. Sometimes the logos will move. Sometimes the content's not where it needs to be. So anyway, so that's a big loss in my opinion, because it is so easy to correct. I mean, like I said, just go on it from your own device and see what the experience is, make notes of it, and tell your developer and your designer to change those things. You know what I mean? So it's not that hard to do, and do it periodically, because because certain things will change, and maybe you've added new content, maybe you're adding a promotion, maybe you're doing things and you forgot to check. So check on it periodically and see how it's going. So now the fourth digital marketing mistake business owners make is ignoring SEO. SEO is search engine optimization. And I know sometimes SEO gets a bad rap because, people are always spamming other people asking for rankings and things like that. But SEO is really important at the end of the day. And even with all this AI stuff going on and all that kind of stuff, getting your site to rank is very important. So understanding your keywords, understanding your value proposition, having the right content on your homepage, on your different pages in your website, and making sure that your website is really optimized so that it ranks well when people do searches for your business. That's very important. So check it out. It's really, again, this one's also relatively easy to correct in the sense that you can make a list of your keywords that you really want to rank for, and don't just pick them out willy-nilly, and don't just try to guess what they could be or things like that. Actually talk to your customers and say, hey, what did you search to find me? And determine what those keywords are. And then I recommend, because search engine optimization can be very nuanced, open up your browser in incognito mode. Maybe use a different Wi-Fi or something like that when you're doing that. And then do a search for those keywords to see what comes up, because what you're doing there is you're eliminating your own search history, and you've probably been to your website many times. So the search rankings could be misleading if you don't take those steps to basically correct for those, your history and your location and things like that. So I've told business owners from time to time, if you go to McDonald's or you go to Starbucks or wherever you go, just spend a little bit of time there, use their Wi-Fi, go to incognito mode, do a search for your business and see what comes up, and make a note of what comes up, because then you can start correcting them, right? So anyway, this one's also at least it's relatively easy to diagnose the problem, to see what your SEO is like. Now, in terms of how to correct them, sometimes you could do it yourself, just kind of making some adjustments here and there. A lot of times you might need somebody that really knows what they're doing. So drop me a line if something that you need help with, or you need some guidance on, and I can point you in the right direction. But that's the fourth mistake is that they are not focusing on optimizing their website. So ignoring SEO is the fourth mistake. Now, the fifth and final mistake, this is just my list. This is not a list that I got from anywhere else. This is my list. The fifth mistake is not focusing on content marketing. Now, content marketing can be, people misunderstand content marketing, or they might have a different idea when they think about content marketing. So as a baseline, let me just define what that is. So I did some research on this to kind of get a good definition for it. And this is my definition for content marketing. So content marketing is a strategic marketing approach that involves creating and sharing valuable, relevant, and consistent content with the purpose of attracting and retaining a clearly defined audience, and ultimately driving profitable customer action. So it's strategic, it's a marketing approach, it's about creating and sharing valuable and relevant and consistent content, right? With the purpose of, you want to attract a defined audience. Just getting an audience is not important, right? So, and getting an audience in Ukraine or Russia is not important. You need, if your business is in Arizona, that is, if you're there, then it is relevant. But so a clearly defined audience, and then ultimately the content marketing that you create needs to drive profitable customer action, meaning they need to do something as a result of engaging with your content Maybe they need to call you up. Maybe they need to download a product. Maybe they need to buy something or they need to do something, right? So that's my definition of content marketing. The goal of content marketing is to educate and engage your potential customer and build trust and credibility, right, with them, and then ultimately drive conversions. So when you're doing content marketing well, it means that you are building awareness and credibility. So you're providing information to them that helps them understand what your product is, what your service is, and things like that. It means, what that means is that the blog post that you are writing, maybe the Instagram post that you're putting out, maybe the tweets, the Facebook post that you're putting out, all the content that you're producing is helping build awareness and helping build credibility about your service, about your product, and about what it is that you do. And then if you're putting it out in the right spot, with the right timing, and they have a really good understanding of your, and then they're consuming that, then they should be reacting to that, meaning they should be clicking on the link, or they should be leaving a comment, or they should be sharing it. They should be coming to your website at some point, and they should be turning into your leads, right? And then it's not like the content marketing part ends there. Once they become leads, they should be getting follow-up content, maybe email, maybe whatever it is that the content is that is going to continue to drive that engagement, drive that loyalty, that ultimately leads to conversion, meaning they turn into a customer for you. So, and if you spend some time thinking this through, you will be able to come up with a very cost-effective form of content marketing that allows you to drive the kind of customers and clients that you're looking for, right? So the way to get started with this would be to find out more, as much as you can, about your target audience. Find out where they are, what they need, what their interests are, what their pain points are, and then choose the content format. Are you going to do a blog post? Are you going to do an infographic? Are you going to do videos? Are you going to do podcasts? Are you going to do ebooks? Are you going to do email markets? Email content? What is it that you're going to do? Are you going to do social engagement? Things like that. Choose your content format. Then, with the understanding of the target audience that you have and the content format that you've decided on, then start creating a content calendar, create the content, start posting, start measuring, and start refining, right? And that will get you the kind of, and do it consistently. I mean, this is the ultimate form of joining a gym. If you want that beach body in June and it's January, just going for the month of January ain't going to cut it, right? It's already February. You should have been in the gym for the last 6 weeks if you're going to get that beach body in July. So anyway, do it consistently. Keep hammering it away, keep refining it. And we talked about some of this in the podcast episode when I had Courtney on here. We talked about, just not being perfectionist, not being, driven by fear or driven by just, overthinking and things like that, to be able to kind of be handicapping yourself to not doing it. So anyway, content marketing, I see a lot of businesses ignoring content marketing. Either they don't want to do it, or they think it's expensive, or they don't have a way of doing it and things like that. Again, I've spent a lot of time in content marketing. So if you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. Connect at corneryourmarketpodcast.com. Leave me a note, ask me questions, leave a comment, and I'd be happy to point you in the right direction. So the fifth mistake being content marketing, and that's a big one in my opinion, ignoring that, not paying attention to it, because content marketing can be a critical aspect of digital marketing and that many business owners overlook. So to wrap up this episode, here are the 5 marketing mistakes that I talked about in this episode. I talked about failing to develop a strategic plan as being a very critical mistake, and that's a big one. I spent a good part of this podcast talking about that. And the second one is not measuring your performance. That's also a big one. Talked about that as well. Overlooking your mobile optimization is the third mistake that people neglect. The fourth one is not doing any search engine optimization, SEO. That's a big one as well. And then the fifth one is not focusing on content marketing. So those are the 5 mistakes that I came up with, and those are the ones that I have seen consistently over the last few years. But I'd be curious to see what you think. I don't know if you have any feedback on these 5 things. If you feel like maybe I missed one, or if there's another one, or maybe I've overemphasized one that you felt like should not have been emphasized, I'd be happy to hear. In fact, I'd be glad to hear from you to see what your thoughts are. So anyway, that's my 5 mistakes. So until next time, happy marketing, and go correct these mistakes if you've made any of these ones. And let's see how we can get you to the next level of your marketing. So until next time, happy marketing.
If you're a small business owner, a marketing manager at a company, or an entrepreneur, please tune in weekly. You'll gain some insights, tips, tricks, and be a bit more enlightened when it comes to digital marketing. I promise you, if you implement the strategies, tactics, and tools I discussed in this podcast, your business will definitely grow. Please subscribe to this podcast. You can do so by going to corneryourmarketpodcast.com and subscribe with the listening platform of your choice. That URL again is corneryourmarketpodcast.com. Don't forget to like and share this episode with your friends and colleagues. Also, don't forget to leave a review. Those mean a lot to me and can help others that would benefit from the information we share. Finally, I would love to hear from you. I love getting listener emails. So if you have questions, feedback, or any general comment about the topics I discuss on this podcast, feel free to send me an email. I will be sure to share and discuss your feedback on the air if it will benefit our listening audience. You can write to me at connect@corneryourmarketpodcast.com. Just put listener comment in the subject line. That email again is connect@corneryourmarketpodcast.com. And again, please put listener comment in the subject line. Thanks for listening today. I look forward to being back next week. Until then, be good and do good.